So this is the condo. I'm on like I think the 17th floor. So it's a pretty good view. You can see the city. So the year is 2025 and you've been seeing a certain buzzword all across social media. And that buzzword is Thailand. That's right. You've been thinking about visiting, whether it's for work, pleasure, leisure, short term, or long term. You've been seeing a lot of people talking about Thailand, going to Thailand, relocating, and visiting. Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you a few things that you should know before you go. Stay tuned to the end because I added 2 bonus personal things I think you need to know before you go so you move the right way. So without wasting any time, let's get straight to the topic of the video. The first is the visa situation. So some people assume you can just go to Thailand as long as you want and nothing can be worrisome. And there's no problems. It's all smiles and sunshines and rainbows. It is rainbows and sunshines, but I'm here to tell you need to make sure your visa information is correct before you go. So initially, if you don't know, you have to get the passport. Once you get your passport, you can then get the proper visa. Depending on what country of origin you're from and how long you plan on staying, that will determine your type of visa. Let's say that you're coming from like a Canada or the United States or Australia. Typically, you can get what's called a tourist visa. And they do have visas upon arrival. So visa upon arrival is like you go to a country, they give you a visa right then and there, typically about 300 Thai baht, which is less than $10 USD. But you get a tourist visa, and within that tourist visa, at least for Americans, you can stay for 60 days. So most people are not going to stay there longer than 60 days. However, let's say you end up staying 90 days. They have what's called a visa extension. So once your 60 days is up, you can go to the local embassy, pay some money, speak to them, etc., and they can extend it another 30 days to make your total stay 90 days. Now, if you're doing the long-term thing, there's different visas you can look into as far as cooking visas, Muay Thai visas, student visas, etc. I'm not going to discuss all the visas in great detail in this particular video, but in a later video, I may discuss those particular visas. Now, I want to go to the next point. You'll notice in Thailand, they use a lot of plastics, right? So there's been studies recently to show that plastic can actually be harmful for the human body. So Thailand has been trying to crack down on this, you could say. So they have what's called plastic-free zones. In these particular zones, single-use plastic is banned. But you'll know when you're in these zones typically because they're like national parks and major tourist areas. And most of Thailand, you don't have to worry about this particular thing. But like I said, they're going to let you know. The next thing, so I want to talk about cultural etiquette. A lot of people go to countries and they think they can just act all crazy. Hey, I'm from this country, so I don't care about your country. Some people come with that mindset. I'm here to tell you, please leave that mindset alone. We don't want Thailand to come and become the next Dominican Republic or any other places ran by, passport bros and all these people who just come there for one reason or to disrespect the culture. Please be respectful to the culture and practice cultural etiquette. One rule that is in Thailand is avoid criticizing the royal family. It's technically illegal. So if you say anything about the royal family, there's a chance you can get thrown in jail. Another thing is don't throw money on the ground. Depending on where you're at, they can enforce certain boundaries upon you for simply defacing the money or treating the money horribly. So respect the royals and respect the local currency. Next, I want to talk about tech and connectivity. So the same way you go to certain countries like Spain, like Canada, USA, London, well, United Kingdom technically, they have what's called QR code payments. In some places in Thailand, they do have these, especially for what's called like Alipay, which is like a Chinese QR code payment method. They got Prompt Pay. They have a few other places. And best believe that the internet and connectivity in Thailand is top notch. They do have 5G coverage, so if you're worried about the internet speed, you should be fine. Speaking about that, earlier in the video I said, hey, I got two personal things I want to share. The first one, while we're on the subject of connectivity, would be the SIM cards. You can buy a SIM card at the airport, but I'm here to tell you, you can get a SIM card for about 1/5 the cost you would in the airport if you don't buy it in the airport. So in the airport, they're going to charge you usually between 30 to 50 USD for a SIM card, where if you just wait until you leave the airport, go to the nearest 7-Eleven, you can buy one between $4 to $9 USD. So if you want to save money, that's one way to do it, right? Another thing, I'm talking about health and safety. You don't have to worry about Thailand when it comes to the quality of service in their hospitals. They do have some pretty good hospitals. And as far as their vaccine requirements, because we are considered past the pandemic, there's no longer a need for 19 boosters, if you get what I'm saying. I don't want to say the word because on certain social media platforms, it is considered a banned word or a word that can potentially upset the algorithm. So I want you to use your imagination on there. Next subject, I want to talk about transportation upgrades. So they have the high speed rail, which is like if you want to go to Bangkok to Chiang Mai, things like that. So they're working on that. They want to definitely improve the time because Chiang Mai is northern Thailand. A lot of people go there, a lot of digital nomads, foreigners, etc. It's like a good mix of nature. And then if you want a little small city vibe, that's the vibe for Chiang Mai. BTS is continuing to improve as well, and you can buy local cards for the BTS metro system in many places. So another thing I want to cover now is the money saving hacks. So if you want to save money, it's best to go during what's considered off season, which would be like May to October. It is a little more rainy during that season, but typically flights and hotels and entertainment is cheaper than those in those months. If you want to save money as far as the dining, you can always do street food. When I first came to Thailand, I was somewhat concerned or scared to try the street food, but many people told me, hey, Thailand is different from a lot of other countries. The street food here is actually considered clean, especially if you see them cook it right there in front of you. So I did eat the street food a couple times. Thankfully, I never got sick, but I always ate a lot of fruits, vegetables, and water. That's another thing when it comes to the water. Typically, you want to buy water bottles rather than someone handing you a cup of ice and water. There's something called, I believe they call it Thai belly, kind of similar to Bali belly, people to go to Bali and get sick. So buy bottled water, not necessarily water from a cup, and that can help reduce your chances of becoming sick once you're in Thailand. Another thing I want to point out is what's called scam alerts. I want to give the disclosure, though, this is not something that's unique to only Thailand. A lot of countries have their own scams. It's just in Thailand, it's good to know the particular scams that's going on so you don't get robbed. There's a lot of discounted jewelry, and some of it is fake, so be careful of that once you're buying jewelry over there. And then there's also the tuk-tuk scams. So the tuk-tuks are the little, like, almost like golf cart kind of play-looking carts. You'll see it in a lot of tourist areas. They'll see you, they can tell you're a tourist. They be, hey, I'll take you here for X amount of Thai baht. Typically, they charge more than like grabs and taxis and things of that nature, so be careful. If you want the tuk-tuk experience, there's nothing wrong with that. I did the experience like once or twice, but I know they charge more, so I did the tuk-tuk more as an enjoyment thing, but be careful of that. The final thing I want to share is definitely to book your Airbnb outside of the city center or your hotel outside the city center if you want to save some money as well. Get out of the tourist area, get out of downtown, go a little bit on the outskirts, and you'll save money. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Peace and love.